Well, I'm back, everybody. This is Ricky Marvel 69 Comics. Today I'm going to give my thoughts on the upcoming X-Men Days of Future Past. Now, I know I haven't been on YouTube for a while. As you can tell, I haven't been on YouTube for like about a year. But I know I'm a little late for the updates, but I'm going to give my thoughts on it. After when I heard that Bryan Singer, the director of X-Men and X2 X-Men United, I was really excited to hear him coming back for X-Men Days of Future Past, mainly because he made the first two X-Men movies feel like they were in the comics. Now, X-Men 3 wasn't really that good, and X-Men Origins Wolverine, we're not going to even talk about that one. And, of course, the new Wolverine was pretty good. Now, I heard that the original cast, and actually about like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, they had Comic-Con, and the original cast appeared at Comic-Con along with the X-Men First Class cast. Yeah, say that a couple times. It's really interesting, I'm really excited because, they're going to try to bring a big storyline. Now, as you may have not known, or may have known, X-Men Days of Future Past consists of a story where the Sentinels attacked in the future, and mainly Kitty Pryde had to go back into the past to prevent it from happening. Now, I heard recent interviews from Bryan Singer and from the cast members that Wolverine will be going back in time, and I think that would make pretty sense because it's supposed to take place in the year of 2013, like in the present day, and it's supposed to take place in the 70s for the X-Men First Class, which would make perfect sense, and it was better not to just go into the future. But having Wolverine go back in time makes a little bit more sense, not just because of Wolverine, but mainly because his mind, his younger self is in the past, so it'll make a lot more sense without destroying the continuity. Speaking of the continuity, Bryan Singer said something about X-Men Days of Future Past to consist of fixing the continuity that X-Men 3 caused, because X-Men 3 kind of screwed it up. But I love the first two X-Men movies, X-Men and X2 X-Men United. Those are two of my favorites from the X-Men trilogy, mainly because, what he captured was the characteristics of what they were like in the comics, and mainly having all the characters be together and all that. And this is supposed to come out in the year of 2014 next year, and I'm really excited for it. I hope that they try to make it seem really realistic, but not just go too campy, which I know they won't because this is the X-Men universe. But mainly, you gotta be careful to not mess up. But what I like about this is Hugh Jackman is returning, as usual. He is Wolverine. Patrick Stewart is returning as Professor X. Ian McKellen is returning as Magneto. Ellen Page is returning as Shadowcat / Kitty Pryde. Shawn Ashmore is returning as Iceman. Anna Paquin's returning as Rogue. And Halle Berry is returning as Storm. I can't remember the guy's name that plays as Colossus, but Colossus is coming back. And I saw new updates of what the pictures are looking like, and they wear like the spandex. And speaking of the leather that they wore in X2 and X-Men 1 and X2 X-Men United, Bryan Singer said they're not doing that, so I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. But either way, another thing I heard is the new costumes that they're having just looks really cool. As people may have known, there was an end credit scene at the end of the Wolverine, and it sets up X-Men Days of Future Past, which makes me very excited because at the end of X3, people are going to be asking, or at the end of the Wolverine, people are asking, how is Professor X still alive? Well, the answer is simple. At the end of X3, he had a twin brother, mainly, and he transferred his body into his twin brother. Now in the comics, he kind of like had a twin sister, but it made more sense for the movies having a twin brother, just in case if he did die, like in X3, he could have a secondary body. But it seems really cool, and it's supposed to take place, a couple, like 7 or 10 years after X-Men The Last Stand, so it'll be really interesting. I will get my updates on the upcoming The Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, I know I did do a video on that, maybe a year ago, about talking about Thanos being the villain, but since these recent updates, I'm going to get my thoughts about that as well. But I want to get my thoughts on X-Men Days of Future Past because it seems really interesting, and a lot of people have been talking about it. As a fan of the comics, I'm really excited to see it. mainly because all the cast members from the original cast is coming back, and I love the first two X-Men movies, and I'm glad Bryan Singer did come back. Matthew Vaughn was originally supposed to come back from X-Men First Class to do it, but mainly he didn't do it mainly because he was doing another movie, and it was supposed to take place like during the 70s, like this movie, but it wasn't supposed to be like Days of Future Past. It was supposed to take place about the assassination of JFK or something, but it made more sense to do Days of Future Past so you can get an X-Men 4 and an X-Men First Class too. So I'll get my updates on the upcoming The Avengers Age of Ultron and see you in my next video.